Welcome to another episode of Real Talk with Real Recruiters. I'm Kristen and I'm your host. And today we have some very special guests from our planning organization. And I have a lovely co-host, Carol, who is one of our corporate recruiters here at Burlington. Carol, do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. Hello, I'm Carol. I recruit for the planning team. I've been with Burlington for about 15 years.
Wow.
6 years have been on the talent acquisition team, and those prior years were with the planning team. So I was asked to talk about a fun fact. The last time I was on this, I said I like to cook for the team. That's still my fun fact.
I think we're due for some more food from Carol.
I think so. So I like to introduce my guests I have today.
Yes.
I have Jessica and I have Wayne from the planning team. So why don't you talk a little bit about yourself, a fun fact, and what you do for the company.
So as Carol mentioned, my name's Jessica. I'm a chain planning manager here. I've been with the company for 6 years. And my fun fact is always the most difficult thing for me to come up with, but it's kind of fitting. I'm actually leaving tomorrow for a family vacation to San Diego, and my husband literally just bought the ticket maybe 2 hours ago. So he cut it really close. I guess he kind of likes to live the off price and save money like we do here. So that's my fun fact.
You're very calm because if I was going on a plane in one day, I would be like, well, I need to get everything ready. So you were very calm.
I consider it a lesson learned that next time we're going to do this much further in advance.
Exactly. My name is Wayne Scott. I've been with the company for about 10 and a half years. I'm a location planning manager for the company. My fun fact is I have a 2-year-old Italian Greyhound named Watson who is a very spoiled boy, and we love him to pieces.
Dog babies are the best.
Yes.
Oh. Well, thank you guys again for joining us. So first question, can you guys give us just like a little overview of kind of what the planning organization does here at Burlington? Jessica, do you want to take it?
So chain planning, we focus primarily on two main things, I guess I would break it into. So we do preseason planning. So we'll use our hindsights of the previous year and previous quarters to say, what did we do well? What could we do better in the future? And then we work with our merchandising partners as well as our location planning partners and allocators to kind of develop a strategy for the preseason planning process. And then we also react in season. So once we're in that season, how do we develop the best class month plans? Really identifying what are the opportunities, what are the risks, and how to get ahead of that, and collaborating with all of our partners in the process.
Yeah, and then from a location standpoint, same, we have a preseason and in-season process. Really from a location point of view, we're really managing sales relationships at the region level and kind of looking at it from a different lens. And then what we do is we identify opportunities and risks with our chain planning partners to make sure we're all aligned and make sure we have the best result. We also make sure from a standpoint from sales, what we do as an analyst, we ensure everything is good to go through reporting tool. We have reporting tools and planning tools and forecasting tools, which is awesome. And from there, once the analyst gets everything in place, we work with the chain side to make sure we're good to go. We'll get allocation targets from the work that we've done. So, and then it kind of comes full circle between the planning side and then what our work then is transposed into targets, then the allocation team will allocate to those targets.
So it sounds like you guys work pretty hand in hand.
Exactly, a lot of collaboration and partnership.
Right.
Exactly.
So tell me, what do you like about your job?
Do you want to go first?
Sure. I think it's the people. I mean, being here 10 and a half years, I've developed a lot of great relationships with a lot of people in the company. From there, even Jess, we've worked together. Another fun fact, Jess and I worked together when she first started out in planning. So it's nice to even have, being in different areas now, being able to bounce an idea off of her and make sure that, getting it from a different lens and from a different perspective. It's just nice to have those people that are handy, that are able to help support you. So that's what I really appreciate that. Burlington, I think, does a very good job supporting each other in every role.
Definitely.
You stole my answer. Because I was going to say, definitely the culture. And I think, we started, I guess, when I started 6 years ago, we were together, and everybody is just so welcoming. I've had many different roles with the company. I started off in chain planning, then I did new store planning, and now I'm back to chain planning as a chain planning manager. So I keep moving around and growing within the company, and it's nice to know that there's always somebody willing to help get you up to speed on certain things. And if you ever somebody's running behind on a project, everybody always rolls up their sleeves and helps. And, when we're successful and seeing strategies, come in to start planning a strategy and see them executed and to see them happen is, amazing. And to celebrate those wins together is another thing that I really enjoy about the job.
Definitely.
Okay, great.
Well, so I know we have like a lot of tenure here between, you're 15, you're 6, you're 10. So do you guys mind sharing a little bit about your professional journey? I know you touched a little bit on kind of how you met and you've been through things together, but a little bit more about your professional journey here at Burlington.
So, as I mentioned, I started here 6 years ago. I was a chain planner in the youth team with Wayne, and an opportunity came to become a new store planner. It was a great opportunity to learn kind of more of a different side of planning.
Right.
So I spent quite a few years there, and then I became the manager of new store planning, which was a really exciting time. It's great to work for a retailer that's growing, so very rewarding experience. And then I moved to chain planning, and I've been in this role for about 9 months.
Okay, so pretty new to the
Pretty
role.
new, yep. So, but it's, I think it's always you're always a little nervous when you start a new role.
Right.
But having all those familiar faces around really makes it a lot easier transition. And like Wayne said, you can always just ask questions, or there's always someone willing to help out.
Right. So I've been with the company for about 10 and a half years. It's actually my first corporate job out of college.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, so
Wow.
so definitely a great experience.
Yes.
So I was with the replenishment department for about 3 years. I was an analyst, promoted to a senior analyst, and then replenishment manager. Then I went over to planning for about 4 years. And then I was kind of looking for something else. So I went over to the allocation side. I was an allocation manager for about 3 years. And then I've been a location manager for about the last 9 months now.
So you've
and
really
I think,
jumped around.
Right.
You've seen
Exactly.
and done
So
a
I've
lot.
definitely had the experience in the merchandise and planning organization. One of the things that I will say, and I think we've touched on it before, is just really being able to, whenever I was ready for the next role, being able to sit with that person and really gain the knowledge needed to be able to move on to that next role, and just having the people willing to stay early, stay late, and have that support was awesome.
Definitely.
And that's the one thing, too, that's good about Burlington is that we really truly believe in promoting from within.
Absolutely.
So.
And even not just promoting with them, exploring other opportunities, whether it be switching from planning to allocation, but really kind of exploring your route and kind of finding your career path here. We want to make, this your home.
Right, right. Yeah. So as a recruiter, I do look for certain characteristics in people and skill sets. But in your perspective, what would you say would be a characteristic that you think would make someone successful here?
So I think within any planning role, the number one thing I think we both would agree on is being, analytical. It's definitely a critical component to a planning job. Definitely, I would say a team player, because we tend to work as a team on a lot of different projects within our internal teams and with our cross-functional partners like location planner. And definitely, I would say, a clear communicator, because with working with so many different team members, it's, another important quality to have.
I think from a location, obviously the same, qualities, but, a couple more is really, being able to prioritize. We're a fast-paced environment, and really being able, for a daily or weekly, being able to kind of manage the time and make sure that you kind of know what's expected of you. Also, being adaptable. I think that we've had a lot of, even in the last 10 and a half years of being here, we've had a lot of positive change, and being able to kind of be adaptive and know, like, what we do today, 6 months from now, it could change. And, change is positive, and being able to, really adapt to that.
Definitely.
And then, the last one I would say is kind of being a forward thinker, like what you do today, what affects a week from now, 4 weeks from now, and really thinking ahead as to, what are some of the things going on, and how do we make sure we solve for that ahead of time.
Definitely. Yep. All right, so can you guys talk a little bit about like your team dynamic within each of your kind of positions?
Sure. I mean, for us, especially for location being so new, it's a very collaborative effort. We had a lot of training, in the last year, and it's sitting and training together, sitting in the learning labs together, and really making sure as a team we're cohesive and understand what's going on, and being there to support each other, and being able to listen, being able to have the questions asked and question answered. And if, we don't know the answer, being able to look for a subject matter expert to help get us the answer, but all kind of as a unit understand. From a fun perspective, I feel like we're always there's always food involved wherever in the building, but we typically will have breakfasts. We just had a luau a couple weeks ago.
Nice.
So a little potluck where everyone bought their favorite dish. So that was a lot of fun. It's nice for a lunchtime period just to kind of get together with team members, celebrate wins, and just really get to know everybody.
Definitely. Get outside the desk.
Exactly.
Yep.
We actually had 2 birthday celebrations today. We had a breakfast this morning and then an afternoon snack. So we do a lot of celebrating here, and it's very difficult to be on a diet here.
Definitely.
Oh, definitely.
So I've had way too many cookies today already. But like Wayne said, we do a lot of the fun stuff. We also go as a team with our merchant partners. We go to stores and kind of see what is all that work that we do behind the desk. What does that look like in the store, and how is the customer perceiving all of the work and the strategies that we put into that? As well as, there's a lot of training and development that happens with, new processes, old processes. So we spend a lot of time in training together, and we definitely spend a lot of time on the fun side of things.
Definitely.
Celebrating.
Yeah.
So, not to put you guys on the spot, but we have a little jar here.
Oh, no.
Jar of fun.
We're going to ask you to pick this paper, and
Do you want to go first, or would you like me to go first?
I'll go first.
So just a disclaimer, this is our first time doing it. It's a question bowl, so it's going to be some random questions in here just to get to know Burlington, our folks from the planning organization, and maybe even Carol and myself just a little more.
So mine says, what have you done so far now that we have Summer Hour Fridays, which is super exciting.
Yes.
I think for now, I just was able to kind of get to the pool a little bit quicker and get there by the afternoon, get some nice afternoon sun.
Yes.
Not get too burned. I look forward to the Fridays.
Yes, they're so amazing.
Yes,
I think it's nice
exactly.
to get your errands done and everything before it's even 5 o'clock on a Friday. You're done your weekend plans and it's not even 5.
okay, Jessica.
You got a good one, so I'm nervous. What's your favorite place to spend time on our corporate campus? So definitely guilty with going to the Starbucks cafe that we have upstairs. My husband always asks me what those charges are on the credit card. I'm guilty of going there and probably having at least 1 or 2 coffees a day, and taking my team down and really, now that we have nice weather, grabbing a cup of coffee, sitting outside, taking a few minutes to just decompress before we get back to our work.
Do you have your set times you go? Because I know the 2:30 line is crazy.
It is crazy.
I try to go at 3 right after the line, so that's my strategy with the Starbucks.
And they have a great lemon pound cake.
Oh, yes, it is very good.
Yes, very good.
All the treats there are pretty good.
They're very good.
They are. All right. Well, that was kind of a fun way to wrap up this episode. But hopefully you guys enjoyed it and learned a little bit more about the positions. Thank you guys so much for joining. And Carol.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
Yes,
Of course.
And Carol for co-hosting with me.
Always a pleasure.
If you guys are interested in learning more about any of the planning positions we have, or just want to learn about more about Burlington in general, please check out our career site, burlingtonstores.jobs, or you can comment in this video, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. But stay tuned for our next episode of Real Talk with Real Recruiters, and thanks again for tuning in.